today I want to start working on authentication, which is basically allowing users to log in, register, use our app. And it's really just a difference between seeing the welcome page versus users who are able to see, let's say, the dashboard page or the profile page or anything on the back end. That's what we mean when we say authentication. So what I want to do first is I want to create a group to basically house all of our admin routes that we created that will basically just allow authenticated users to get to the backend. Now, I say authenticated, I don't mean authorized. I'm just talking about authentication today. We will talk about authorization in the next video, but for now, this is just authentication. Now, to group these routes, I'm going to go to the web routes. And if we go down a bit where we have the group routes that are for the dashboard right in here, we can copy this because this is the same authentication we're going to use, and we could refactor this whole little section here, but I'm not interested in doing that. So I'm going to go ahead, paste this in here so that we have the middleware, which is auth sanctum. We have the auth session from Jetstream, and we're also going to allow verified access to this if we want to go ahead and do that. We can do that. That's fine. What I'm going to do is, instead of moving them all in here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this up a bit. So the prefix will stay the same. The name is going to stay the same. What I'll do here is I'll add middleware. And then we can just go ahead and grab these, paste them in here, and that will do what we needed to do. So now I can go ahead and get rid of this. So now when we get back to the browser and we refresh, we should be redirected back to a login page. So we'll go ahead, refresh it. And as you can see, we've been redirected to a login page. That's one thing that we can do. Now I'm going to go ahead and log in as our admin. So as you can see, we've lost some of this styling. Now what that's doing is it has something to do with the redirecting and using inertia with a different route view. We'll fix that in a bit, but for now, what I want to do is I'll just refresh the page just so that we can have access back to this. We'll get to that, but for now, it's fine the way that it is. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to add some links. One is going to go back to that dashboard for the front-end user. And then I also want to create a link there to come back to this backend. So let's go ahead and start working on that. Well, what I want to do is I want to put it in two different places, but both of them are in our sidebar. So the first one is going to be the logo that we have on that sidebar. And I'm going to change these two links. And this will just be route dashboard. And then we'll head down to under the miscellaneous here. And I'm just going to grab one of these nav item links up here. And then under here, I'm just going to paste that in. This will be to dashboard. And this isn't going back to the admin dashboard. This is going into the front end user dashboard. So here we can change this as well to say user dashboard. Let's check the browser and make sure that that took. Okay, and if you hover here, you can see that it's going back to the dashboard. And I also want to change this little icon here. We'll do that before we go to the user dashboard. So instead of FA circle, this is going to be to home. And it's going to be solid. So we have a little icon in there. It's brought us in here. And now we can also add another link to this dashboard page that's taking us back to the admin dashboard page. Now this one is going to be in the app layout because that's where all of our app layout is. And I want to look for dashboard. So it's right here. And what I can do is just grab this, paste it, and now instead of route dashboard, it'll be admin dashboard. And we'll go ahead and change that here as well. Okay, so there we go. We have a link for it. Now, if we click it, it takes us back to our dashboard. And now if we click these, we can go back and forth to those pages quite comfortably. The next thing I want to do is I want to make it so that whatever our user is, it'll have their image as well as their name. So first we can go over to the sidebar because that's where we're displaying it. And we are using the one that we have in our storage folder. Instead of all of this, we can do page, props, auth, user, profile, photo, URL, and then we can also put in their name. So I'm going to grab this. Paste it, and actually, I need some curly brackets there, and I need to grab this again. Paste it, and instead of the profile URL, it'll be name. Let's take a look. So we have a little profile photo here, which this is just a default that comes with Jetstream. That's fine, and it also does have our name. But now what I also want to do is set it up so that we can log out from this page. We don't have to go back to the user side of things, the standard user side of things. We can just be able to click a button. So let's go and add another link down here under this, and let's set it up so that we can log out. In our sidebar here, we can just come down under here. I'm going to grab another one of these link items. I'll go ahead, paste it here. And instead of link, it'll be form. This is just going to say log out. And the icon will be FAS, FA, sign out, alt. Now we won't need a class on here. We'll just be able to do @submit prevent equals logout. We'll create the function in a moment, but I also want to change this to a button. Type will be submit, class equals nav link, and text left. So now we can grab these two, which is the icon and the text, paste it in here. And what I want to do is I want to grab the logout function from the app layout so I don't have to retype it. And it's just this, it's just the router post, but we do need to remember to import router from Inertia.js. So I'll go ahead, copy this, paste it, and then we need to import it. Let's see if our logout works. We should be able to just click it. And now we've logged out, we've been brought back. And if we want to log in again, then we'll do admin@app.com, password, and it's been brought back to the admin dashboard page. Now, there are two other things that we need to address for authentication for this, and that's when a user registers and when a user logs in. So the first thing is, because we have set up isAdmin, we've only really done it for admins. We haven't done anything for users. We have created use cases for what the admins can do with those users, but we haven't set it up so that when the user registers, they'll have an isAdmin or anything in that sort of a way. So let's go ahead and address that first, and then we'll deal with the logging in of those users separately. Now, yes, we've set it up so that when a user is registered, that they'll be given an isAdmin of 0, because we created the table for it, which is isAdmin to users. But we also want to give them a role when they register so that all of this makes sense and works together. The first thing that I want to do is I want to go to where we actually do create those users, and that is in the app actions, fortify, create new user. So whenever a user registers, they're going to hit this route. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to create a user role variable. And I want to say that that equals the role, app model role, where the name is user first. Because we want to find the role first. And I imported it up top here, which is app models role. So instead of returning here, we'll create a user variable. And we'll say that that equals user create, everything's the same. And then here we will add role, user role. Then we can return the user. Now again, we've already put the default as admin, so we don't need to worry about that in here. That's already been taken care of, but now they are going to be getting that admin role. We should also do it in the factory. We'll just say is admin equals 0. And this way it's just there. Like I said, even though we're giving them default, I do like to make sure that it's explicit in here as well, just in case something changes. I want to make sure that it's all good. We'll go ahead, save that, and then we'll go back to the browser. And I'm going to log out from here. I'm going to register a new user, and they've been brought back to this dashboard page. Fine. That means we haven't done anything to break it. It's all good. Now I'm going to go ahead to grab the email from this user, and then we're going to log out, and then we're going to try to log in. And everything is still good. How I want to set this up is that when a user logs in or an admin logs in, I want them to be redirected either to the admin side or the user side. They can always move back and forth once they've been authenticated, but I want to set it up so if a standard user goes ahead and logs in, that they'll just be directed back to this page. And if an admin logs in, then they're going to be redirected back to this page. We're going to have to check for some use cases to make that work in that way. Now, like anything else in Laravel, there's about 100 ways to do the exact same thing. But if you look at the documentation, Laravel suggests that if you're using Fortify, if you want to tweak something within the Fortify sort of pipeline, you can do it through the service provider. We'll go to App, Providers, Fortify Service Provider, and we can come right down to the register function and do it in here. Now, as you can see, this is where other things are being called in order to facilitate the creating a user, updating a user. All those things are put in here as soon as the application boots up so that it is accessible and things work the way they're supposed to in terms of authentication. For our purposes, we're going to be using the register function. And what I want to do is I want to take a look at the login response. If we look up login response for Fortify, which it'll be in the contracts. Let's see. Let's go down to the vendor folders, Laravel Fortify, source, contracts, login, response. That's what this is. It'll be an HTTP login response. You can see that the response here is basically checking whether or not there's two-factor authentication. And if not, then it'll redirect back to whatever the intended login route is. And that's essentially what we're going to be doing. And here I'm going to do this app instance of the login response class, and the instance is new class implements login response. And I believe it's this one. So Laravel Fortify contracts login response. Now in here we can do some curly brackets and start working on what we're looking for in here. what this essentially is doing is we're tapping the login response into the service provider and kind of creating a new login response where we can pretty much dictate what we want to do. Here, I am going to create a variable and I'm going to call it admin. And then I'm going to say that that equals the auth user is admin. This should be this. Any authenticated user that has is admin, then that's what's going to be pushed into this admin variable. And so for a very simple case, I am going to be using a switch statement. And I'm using a switch statement because switch statements are very good for looking for just having one specific thing that you're checking against versus having an if statement. That's what I want to use here. We have an isAdmin variable in here. We're checking against that admin variable. So we're going to say if the first case is 0, then return redirect to the intended config fortify home. Now, what is the config fortify home? Well, let's go over to the config folder. We'll go to the fortify folder, and then we will look for home, which will end up being /dashboard. That's the key from this config file that we're going to be using for this redirect. If the case is that the isAdmin is 0, then return redirect back to that /dashboard. Then we'll break. The second case is if it is 1, then we'll return redirect. Instead of intended, it'll be route admin dashboard. Then we'll break. And then instead of breaking there, I'm going to copy this one because as the default, we'll just return redirect back to the welcome route. If they're not an authenticated user, they're not an admin, they're not a standard user, they have no authentication, we don't know their name, their email, or anything verifying that they belong on the back end of this, then we'll just send them back to the welcome page. Let's go ahead, save, and then let's try it. So I'm going to go ahead, refresh, and see parse error. I know what happened. Let's go back to the text editor. It is expecting a function, which I completely forgot to do. So in here, I have the instance up here, but I do need a public function to response because this is the one that we're changing. So request, and now I can put this stuff in here. Save that and let's try it again. So now we can log out. Let's go ahead and log in as an admin first. And this should bring me to the back end. Let me go ahead and grab a user's email. Just this one here. We'll go ahead, log out, log in with that new user's email. And now we're brought back to the normal dashboard page like intended. If you're enjoying the content, please go ahead and click that like button as it really does help out the channel. Here's a video YouTube thinks you'll like, and here's a playlist to follow along. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.